The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody out there listening to ARM Radio tonight. Thanks for tuning into our show, All Aboard. I'm Don Whisman, and I'm sitting here with Dave. Dave, you want to tell everybody hello tonight?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening.
And, well, that's a good hello, Dave. I think that's a really good hello. But anyway, you guys, as always, I want to send my prayers out to all the men and women out there serving in our military. And I want to send a great big thank you out there to all the veterans in the country. Thank you for a job well done. And I want to let everybody know today that there's actually 4 states. The primaries have been going on. People's been voting all day in 4 states, including the state we're living in. It's Indiana, West Virginia, North Carolina, and our great state of Ohio. So me and Dave, we barely made the show tonight. We was over at a it was called an election watch party, so we had to rush home to get on here to do this great show because, like they always say in show business, you know, the show must go on. So that's what we've been doing. We've been out voting today, and let's just hope and pray that our candidates that we chose wins today. But it's kind of looking grim right now for one of them. But we've got a really big announcement here in a few minutes, you guys. A really big announcement, and yes. We do have a Facebook group. It's called Trump 2020. So if you're a member of Facebook and you support Donald Trump, join our group, Trump 2020 exclamation point. Just don't forget that exclamation point. That's what makes us special. And also we have a group in Infinity. That's a new program. It's something similar to Facebook, but I think it's going to be better in the long run. And it's also called Trump 2020 exclamation point. Now, And yes, as always, I know last week we took some calls from a couple of politicians, but the politicians, they're not going to call in tonight, you guys. They're all watching their election results, and we will give you guys updated election results as we get them in. But I want to tell you guys that we're going to take calls, so get your pens ready. But we're only going to take calls, in about a half hour from now. Give us a half hour to get talking about some subjects on here. But get your pens out. The number is 1-800-508-5431. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Give us a call. Let your voice be heard. Remember, silence is consent. Now, I'm telling you, me and Dave, we're just a couple constitutionalist conservatives. We love our country. We're just 2 regular guys. We're not sitting here reading off some big fancy teleprompter. We don't have some writer sitting in the background writing for us. We're just 2 regular guys. And I'll tell you about my buddy Dave here. I look at him more like a brother than a buddy anyway. But Dave don't sugarcoat things. And he's got some tough questions to answer here tonight. I got some tough stuff for Dave, but I think he can handle it. And I have a couple of patriotic quotes from President Trump. This is something I like doing every week. And I'll read these. These are from President Trump. I just started writing down his quotes. Trump once said, "We will be protected by the great men and women of our military and law enforcement. And most importantly, we are protected by God." President Trump said that, you guys. I'm serious. And one more. This was kind of a long one. It says, this is what President Trump says, and I quote, "It is time to remember the old wisdom our soldiers will never forget, that whether we are black or brown or white, we all bleed the same red blood of patriots. We all enjoy the same glorious freedoms, and we all salute the same great American flag." Now you tell me President Trump doesn't love this country. That man, he does, and I believe in him. I support Trump 110%. Now, guys, today, this is what I've been doing it for the last 2 weeks. I'm going to do it again. And this is something I started doing new. It's called This Day in History. And it's actually even on your calendars if you didn't notice today. But in this day in history, on May the 8th, back in 1945, World War II ends in Europe after Germany signs an unconditional surrender. Folks, today is VE Day. And if you don't know what that means, that's victory in Europe. And that used to mean a lot of things back in the old days. I remember watching old footage of like New York, and they was posted on them signs, VE Day, VE Day. I mean, but it seems like nobody cares about history, but I love history, Dave. Dave, do you like the old stuff like that? It is VE Day today, Dave.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I think it's an important part of our country.
And I hope everybody can hear Dave good enough. I know I speak. I'm kind of boisterous. I know Dave's. He's a little bit more quiet than I am. I got a big mouth. See, my wife gets on to me for talking too much. But anyway, I guess, Dave, we're going to start this show off. Are you ready?
Let's get it started.
All right, folks. I guess to start with, the big news of today, Trump is pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal. He said this was a horrible, one-sided deal that should have never, ever been made. And he said it didn't bring calm, it didn't bring peace, and it never will. And you guys, I'm going to tell you, this could cause tensions with Russia and China. They are both part of this agreement. Now, Dave, here's my question to you. Why did President Obama sign this? And why is President Trump getting rid of this? And this is three questions in one, Dave. I hope you're good. That's why I feel like I'm throwing you under the bus. And why is some countries over in Europe, why are they complaining about Trump doing this?
Well, Donald, I mean, the first part of it, asking why Obama even had the deal to begin with, I mean, who could get in the head of that rascal? Because to me, he never put America first. So I think he signed the deal because he was more worried about appeasing the rest of the world than he was putting America first. And as far as why, President Trump pulled out of the deal, I think he pulled out of it simply for the fact that it was a horrible deal. He guaranteed that in 10 years, Iran would be a nuclear power regardless. It done nothing for us because all they had to do was move their nuclear stuff on the bases. We couldn't inspect their military bases. We had to give them notice before we could come inspect. We gave them cash money. We gave them billions of dollars in cash. Obama just handed them over cash money in an airplane.
I remember that day.
I mean, it's ridiculous. That man never put America first. And as far as the rest of the world with the European Union, they don't want this deal to go bye-bye because they want to be able to do business with Iran. With this deal going bye-bye, what that does is it's going to ratchet the sanctions back up. There's going to be a 90 and 180-day plan for these sanctions. They go into effect immediately, but they're within 90 and 180 days, they'll be fully implemented again.
So wait a minute, Dave. I'm going to ask you a question here. So do you believe, since President Trump is pulling out of this Iran nuclear deal, he's going to put sanctions back on Iran, and he's going to put pressure on them again?
Oh, that's automatic. That's already a given. The sanctions are going back in place, and they're going to be completely in place within 180 days. That's why the European Union didn't want this to happen, because now they're not going to be able to do business with Iran. That's why China. That's why Russia, Germany, France, all those people with those sanctions gone, they were looking at Iran like a cash cow. Now they can't do that, But then you have countries like Israel, Saudi Arabia, who are in favor of Trump nixing this deal, and it's simply because of the fact that they know how dangerous Iran is. They know that they're going to be a nuclear power. They know that they're the number one state sponsor of terrorism in the world. So why, in God's name, would you let them have a nuclear weapon?
Well, Dave, didn't Iran once say that they would blow Israel off the map? I thought I heard them say that once.
Oh, they've said it more than once. They've said it multiple times.
Well, Dave, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, just look what all Trump has done in the world stage, Dave. And you got to remember, our President Trump, he's only been president it ain't even been in a year and a half yet that he took the oath of office. You guys, this man, he started relations already with North Korea, and don't forget that he's moving the embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. I mean, This is something that no president has got done. I mean, they've been working on this crap for 25, 30 years. Trump has got it done in less than a year and a half, and I think he's going to take care of Iran.
Well, I'm sure he has a plan in place. I know they haven't implemented any kind of plan yet to go with this, them nixing the deal, but I'm sure that they have an idea of the direction that they want to go with it. And I mean, the problem is the mainstream media never gives President Trump, the accolades that he deserves for what he's done so far. He is the only president to come into office and to right off the bat start trying to fulfill campaign promises. He has plans in place. He's a man of action, and the problem is he's being fought at every single turn.
Dave, man, I am so proud of our president for what he's done. I mean, like I said earlier, he made North Korea, Dave. I don't know if you know this, but North Korea, they freed 3 U.S. citizens that have been detained there for years, Dave. They've been over there in that place for years. And now they're released, Dave. I don't know if they're released yet, but they were supposed to be released. I mean, Trump is planning on meeting with Kim Jong-un. This is history in the making. And it isn't, like I said last week, this ain't got nothing to do with Dennis Rodman. This is coming from the President of the United States, a man that cares about this country, and a man that's willing to show his might to save our country.
And that's what it's took all along. We've had entirely too many leaders that have drawn lines in the sand. North Korea's crossed them, Iran has crossed them, and what they do, we just back up and draw another line. Obama was infamous for it, and now you have a man who's saying, you're not going to do this. If you draw a line in the sand, if we do, and you cross it, we're going to punch you in the mouth. He ratcheted up the sanctions on North Korea. He put more pressure on China to get China involved in the negotiations. He put 2 battle groups over there. I mean, that hadn't been done and since the war, if I'm right. So the thing is, he's showing leadership through strength, and I don't think we've seen that since Ronald Reagan.
You're exactly right. I remember when I was a kid, Dave. I wasn't that young, but I remember Ronald Reagan, his famous words. He was over, I think, in Berlin. I think it was the east side of Berlin, and he told Mr. Gorbachev. He said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Now, Ronald Reagan got a wall tore down that needed tore down. And we got a president now, President Trump, that's trying to build a wall that we desperately need. They got a southern wall, Mexico does. Why don't we need a northern wall?
Well, everybody, forgets about the fact that Mexico has a really big wall on their southern border. but the Mexican president will be the first one to tell you that it's inhumane if we put up a wall. And I just don't understand that. I mean, I know that all the illegals that come into our country, they funnel millions, if not billions of dollars back into Mexico, into their economy. So he's not wanting his cash cow to be blocked off. That's the biggest reason.
Well, Dave, I know we're sending a lot of money down there and guns. They don't want our guns there, Dave. They really don't want our guns. I don't know why the Mexican president just don't say, yes, Donald Trump, I will pay for that wall. Keep your guns in the United States, because they're not allowed to have guns in Mexico anyway. But look how bad the crime is in Mexico. Gun laws, you're not allowed to own a gun in Mexico. But look down there. Them people, I'm telling you, I mean, I got a big heart, and I think that's one of my biggest problems is my big heart. I mean, I know them people. Some of them people are being tormented over there by gangs, by police, by the military. But then again, I got to think about Americans. Americans come first to me, Dave. And here's something, Dave, I want to read you. And I think this is going to touch you, Dave, because you said something about this the other day. President Trump threw out a challenge to lawmakers last Thursday, Dave. He was urging them to fix this choice program for our veterans, you guys, by Memorial Day. He wants this fixed by Memorial Day. Dave, will you explain this choice program? I mean, just explain, what is this choice program?
Well, basically, in a nutshell, what it's going to do is it's going to take people who are on long lines at the VA or who can't get seen, and it's going to let them to be able to go to whatever doctor that they choose to go to. So that way they're going to be able to get the treatment that they need as soon as they need it. They're not going to have to wait in lines. They're not going to be on a waiting list. It's going to be able to take care of the veterans the way that they should be took care of by putting them first. Nobody has done this. The mainstream media, they're not covering this because why? Trump could cure cancer, and he's not going to get the recognition. This man is taking care of the veterans. He's putting them first because he respects them. He knows that they're the reason that we're free.
Well, Dave, wait till you hear this one. I saved this one for you. I don't even know if I sent you this, Dave, but there's this VA hospital out in West Los Angeles. It's called the West Los Angeles Medical Center. Do you realize that they have been so many men had to cancel and postpone dozens and dozens of surgeries, Dave, due to fly infestation. Yes, I said it. A fly infestation at a VA hospital. Trump, get it fixed, buddy, and you're going to.
And it's sickening. And there's been instances like this. If you look back over the years from the VA, where veterans have went in to get their teeth worked on, and they've got hepatitis, they've got AIDS, they went in to get blood work, and they've been stuck with dirty needles. It's time that we start putting these people first. They fought for our country. They're the reason we're free. Take care of the veterans. Before you worry about an illegal alien, take care of your veterans. Before you worry about an immigrant, before you worry about a refugee, there should not be one veteran. There should be not one homeless child on the streets of this country before you worry about somebody that don't even belong here.
See, that's something I don't understand, why people even vote for Democrats. I mean, Obama, I think this really got really bad during the Obama administration, these dirty VA hospitals. Why didn't Obama do something about these hospitals, Dave? He had every opportunity in the world to do something about it, but he didn't care. You guys realize this man that everybody was crazy over in America. A lot of people was. I'm not saying our listeners, but a lot of people, they was like hypnotized with this guy. He could have killed somebody out on the White House lawn, and nobody would have cared. Why didn't he fix these things when he was president? He left our president a freaking mess.
Well, he left a mess, and I think so far that Trump has done a pretty good job cleaning it up.
Hell yes.
But he's not getting the recognition that he deserves, and he's never going to in the mainstream media. That's why people, you have to do your research. You have to look beyond Republican, beyond Democrat. You have to look beyond the mainstream media. Look things up. I mean, if you look at some of the stuff that he's done, lowest unemployment rate in 70 years, over 3% gross domestic product growth 2 quarters in a row. Small businesses, their main concern now is hiring workers instead of taxes and government regulations. He's cut government regulations. This man knows how to grow a business, and he's treating his country like that, and it's starting to make America great again. He knows what he's doing. If we could just get behind him, back him a little bit, quit trying to dig up dirt. I mean, we're talking about Stormy Daniels. I don't care what he done 11 years ago. He is not my spiritual leader. He's my president. And if you look at everything that he's done so far, he's done a damn good job.
Well, Dave, you might be happy to know this, that last month in April was the best month in U.S. history. Excuse me, you guys. Sorry about that, you guys. I'm all choked up here. I'm kind of upset tonight over some election results that are coming in. We got like 2% reporting. I'm getting really angry. But last month, David, in April, this is live radio, folks. Things like this happen. I don't care. But anyway, I'll start over again. Dave, last month in April was the best month in U.S. history for the budget. Our country ended up with a surplus of $218 billion, Dave. And this is because of the surging economy. Trump has got our economy booming right now.
Yeah, do you remember back when he passed those tax cuts? They said, "Oh, it's never going to work. Yeah. It's never going to work." But here's the thing, guys: when you give small businesses and you give businesses tax breaks, and you cut our corporate tax was some of the highest in the world. When you make us competitive again, to where businesses want to come back, Then they if they're here, they start expanding. If they're not here, they come back. They hire more workers. It's going to work.
Well, Dave, I don't want to go back on the wall and stuff. I don't want to hash on that again. But do you think, though, Dave, if these companies that are in America, and I'm going to blame a lot of American companies. It's greed. They're the ones, if they would just cut off these illegal immigrants, not give them a job, I mean, that border wall, I mean, they would stop coming over here, Dave. I think a lot of them would stop coming over here if we would just stop hiring them. They're coming here for the free money, for the jobs. They're taking American jobs, by the way. And a lot of Democrats, they always say, oh, that's jobs that Americans don't want. Which that's bull crap, Dave. Americans has been hard workers their whole lives. And I don't know about these new millennials. I mean, I can't say much for them. A lot of good millennials out there, Dave. But honestly, if the American companies, these fat cats that own these big companies, they would just stop hiring these illegals. Why, Dave? Why don't they just stop hiring them? And I think that gives them a big incentive to come over here. As long as these companies keep hiring these people, they're going to keep coming.
Well, I know under the Trump administration, deportation is at an all-time high. But I think what happened is under the Obama administration, they knew that the Obama administration wasn't enforcing immigration laws. So now they are. That's why you have less of an influx of refugees coming in. You have less border crossings because they know now that the border is more secure than it was under the Obama administration, even though it's still wide open and we need the wall. But they also know that Trump is what he's doing is he's having ICE, he's having these border agents enforce the laws that are on the books. And to me, if you're a company and you get caught hiring an illegal and you know that you hired an illegal, that should be a felony. Whoever done that hiring, that company, that CEO, the owner of that company, they need to be locked up.
Absolutely. I'm just saying that because I get really mad at you guys when I talk about these subjects. And yeah, I do. My throat gets messed up sometimes. I make mistakes. I'm just a normal guy, and it's going to happen. But Dave, Trump administration, they are cracking down, Dave. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you this. You probably know this. The Trump administration has decided to end this temporary program that allows 57,000 Hondurans to work in the U.S. and Trump's going to be sending them home. And last week, Dave, the U.S. said they were going to end this special protections for over 9,000 immigrants from Nepal. So President Trump is getting rid of these people. Slowly but surely, we're taking our country back, Dave. It's going to take him a little time, but we're getting there, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely working after it, that's for sure. And like I said, though, he's being faulted every turn, which is why, guys, all these primaries that are starting to happen right now, that's why we're telling you how important it is to get out and vote. Your vote makes a difference. We need to keep in November the blue wave from happening, because if you look at how Trump's being fought right now at every single turn, if you have a blue wave and you have the Democrats taking control of the House or the Senate, it's going to be complete gridlock. There's nothing that's going to be done, because what's happened with our political system today is you either have really, really hard right conservatives or you have really left liberals, and there's not a lot of people that are willing to be in the middle anymore, because if they reach across the aisle, they're called a moderate, or it's ridiculous, guys. When our country was founded, our founding fathers, some of them hated each other. They couldn't stand each other. They had different views of how this country should be started and how it was formed. But what they done is they come together for the common good, and they made the greatest constitutional republic ever in history. So, and that's what needs to happen. We need to put people in place that are willing to reach across the aisle, say, hey, you know what, this is, I'm willing to give a little bit, if you're willing to give a little bit, and let's push this through for the good of the American people. Let's push this through for the good of the people in whatever state that they're in. And when they do that, things happen. But if you're so far right or you're so far left, then nothing's going to happen. It's just gridlock. And all you're doing is sitting there yelling at each other, and you're not accomplishing nothing.
Well, you guys, I just want to tell you that, like I said at the beginning of the show, me and Dave, we just came back. We were talking to a current Ohio State representative. He's in District 62 here in Ohio, and him and Dave was sitting there having a conversation. Now, this man, I'll go ahead and tell you his name is Scott Lips. This man has only served 2 years as Ohio State rep, and I think he said something about, and Dave, what he really liked about him is because he said he reached across the table or something like that. That doesn't mean he's a moderate, Dave, because he's willing to reach across the table. I mean, I sit here and watched Dave Coots talk to Representative Scott Lips earlier, and I'll tell you, these two really hit it off, and they kind of remind me each other of their politics. Their politics sound the same.
Well, and I mean, Scott's is not my rep, but I tell you, if he was, he would definitely be somebody that I could get behind and be proud of. If you look at his voting record, it is stellar. And for people to say that he's a moderate or he's wishy-washy on this or he's weak on this, look at his voting record. I've looked at his voting record when we had him on the show. I've done my research. He is a good American. He's a good Ohioan, and he wants what's best for the people in his district. And here's the thing, guys. It's not even calling him a moderate because he's reaching across party lines, but he's a man that wants to try to get things done. And if you have to give and take, even in your own party, to do that, then that's what you need to do. And people need to realize that you have to be able to compromise. If we're so set on being a hardcore conservative or a hardcore liberal, and there's no room in the middle, what are we going to get done? We're not going to move this country forward, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat. At the end of the day, when we all lay our head down at night, we're laying our head down under one flag, the American flag. We're Americans. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what party that you belong to or what you believe in, but we have to move things forward. So there has to be compromise somewhere if we want to get things done. Otherwise, it's complete gridlock. Nothing gets done, and nothing gets accomplished.
I don't know if you guys know this, but our first president, he didn't even belong to a political party, guys. George Washington. Now, I don't know if he didn't belong to one because he thought it would cause division in our country. Some say he did. That's why he didn't belong to a political party. But I think a lot of people are out there right now, citizens and politicians, Dave, they're abusing the Constitution that was written. And I'm a firm believer in the Constitution, but I don't think it was meant to be abused like it is being abused today. And Dave, I'm going totally off topic here, but Dave, I put an article out a few days ago on my Facebook page. Now, I'm the kind of guy, I'll treat you how you treat me. And I treat people like I want to be treated. So I picked this guy, and I said I'm going to vote for Scott Lips. So this man comes along, a man that I thought was a friend, and just pops on my post, and I would have never done this to this man. He comes on there and writes on my post, he's a rhino. Now, you know what? He had no right to do that. I would never do that to one of my friends, to call his candidate a rhino. But I'll tell you right now, his candidate, and if he knows who I'm talking to, his candidate is a liar. He's got bad politics. Now, that's just something happened to me. I get mad over stuff like that, you guys. I mean, I'm a nice person, but I'm only going to be nice for so long. I'm not going to take that crap anymore. I'm tired of it. I mean, you want to start the crap, I'll finish it. But I have never in my life ever told anyone who to vote for. But I do have a right to tell people who I want to vote for. That's my right. I would never tell you that your candidate was a rhino. I wouldn't do it. But anyway, Dave, you were saying earlier that a lot of people don't give Trump, a lot of people doesn't give President Trump credit. Well, I got a little bit of good news here, Dave. There's a group of about 18 Republican lawmakers that as they signed this letter nominating Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. Now, we're talking about peace in the Korean Peninsula. This has been going on for over 70 years. I do believe Donald Trump needs a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, but I don't think he'll ever get it simply for the fact because of the sentiment that he has with him. You have a man who stepped forward after an administration that never put America first with the platform of Make America Great Again. So what happened is the rest of the world got used to 8 years of Obama of never putting America first. And then you have a man coming in saying, let's make America great again. And we don't care what you think. If you're not an American, we could care less. His concentration is worried about America. So what does he do? He comes in, like I said earlier, he ratchets up pressure on North Korea. He ratchets up pressure on China to put pressure on North Korea.
What about our military? Rebuilding our military.
Oh, absolutely. He's coming in and he's showing that he's rebuilding the military. So we're going to be a force to be reckoned with again. A lot of people, if you don't know it, Obama had our military down to pre-World War II level.
That's horrible. Horrible.
You cannot do that in today's world. Peace through strength. That's why the Berlin Wall fell. That's why Gorbachev tore the wall down. That's why the Russia, when they were the USSR, come apart, was because of the strength. That's why when Iran had our hostages, when the day Ronald Reagan was inaugurated, he told them, if I become president, the day I'm inaugurated, if those hostages aren't set free, we're coming to get them.
They put them on a plane that day, didn't they?
They as he was taking the oath of office, they put him on a plane and they sent him out. Why? Because he showed strength. We had 8 years of Obama, and I don't know. How you look at it, was Michelle the man and Obama the woman? Was Obama the man? Who knows? Because if you look at the two, I think he wore the skirt.
Well, that's why the Iranians took those hostages, because we had a weak president. And I'm not going to talk really bad about Jimmy Carter, but he was weak when it come to foreign policy, you guys. That's why Jimmy Carter was a one-termer. And that's why I think it was Reagan that beat Carter, wasn't it? Yeah, Reagan beat Carter, or Reagan beat Carter, yes. And but anyway, we're gonna switch this over a little bit. Dave, I don't know if you've seen this today, but I seen a video. This man was at a Pilot gas station. They didn't have a flag hanging. The man goes in there and asks the workers why they didn't have a flag hanging. And he told the guy, he said, well, buddy, we got a lot of foreigners coming here, and it offends them. So our company told us not to fly the American flag. So what does Pilot do? They took down their flags because it offends foreigners. That, to me, is ludicrous. That's crazy.
Yeah, and me being a truck driver, I have to deal with truck stops, and I try my best to avoid a Pilot. The only way you'll see me in a Pilot truck stop is if it's an absolute emergency.
Have you seen them not?
There was an instance where there were some protesters who were bringing the flag, and the pilot tried to run them off because they were saying they were blocking the view. The flags were. If you don't want to fly our American flag, then why are you doing business in America?
Get out of our country if you don't respect our flag.
Here's the thing. I think the guy that owns Pilot right now, I don't know his name right off the top of my head, but I think he's from Cleveland and he owns one of the sports teams up there. And then somebody said that one of the big billionaires has bought it out. So it's probably going to go from bad to worse. Honestly, and I can assure you guys, if you live near a Pilot truck stop or a Pilot gas station, don't do business with them. Here's the thing. They have a right to pull that flag down, them being a private business, but we have the right not to patronize their facility. So if you don't have to go there, if you can go on down the street and get your gas or get your diesel or buy your food, by all means do it. Do not patronize the store.
I agree with you, Dave. And before we get going any further, the phone number you can call in if you want to. I'll give the number to you again. It's do we have a call? Oh, we do have a call. And it's by Chris Fitzwater. Go ahead, Chris. What you got to say, buddy? Make it quick, man.
Hey, Donald. I'm just calling to say that I'm glad President Trump ended that deal with Iran. That was a stupid deal what they did anyway. So I'm just glad he ended that deal with them.
Amen, Chris. And once again,
Yeah.
Chris, I want to thank you for listening to our show. I hope your family's listening, Chris. And thanks for doing that video earlier about that pilot deal, that flag. Thank you, buddy.
Not a problem. Anytime, man.
All right, finish listening to our show. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, man.
Bye, buddy.
All right. Later.
Well, you guys, I wanted to send some special thanks out to a lady who listens to our show. Her name's Sheila. She's from Texas. And Dave mentioned the blue wave a while ago, but I want to see a wave like they got in they're having volcano eruptions down in Hawaii right now, if you guys didn't know that. But we need a red lava wave cross over this country in November. And thank you, Sheila, for always talking about that red lava wave. That's what we need.
Absolutely. Like I said before, Donald, if the Democrats, aka libtards, as I like to call them, if they take the House or the Senate in November, it's going to be complete gridlock. We're not going to be able to get anything done. And I just don't know if I could stand to see Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House again.
Well, Dave, I'm going to go ahead and announce what our special announcement is. People stopped voting over an hour ago here in Ohio, but I'm going to tell you right now, tonight, right here, live breaking news on Armed Radio, and a lot of people may think we're joking, but I'm being really serious here. If Mary Taylor does not win the primaries tonight, David Coots is going to run for governor of Ohio as an independent write-in candidate. Now, you guys, we may not have a chance in hell to win this election for Dave being governor, but you know what? We're trying to send out a message, because I would rather, like Dave says, I'd rather vote for Snoopy than I would Mike DeWine.
Yep, and Donald Whisman is going to be my lieutenant governor.
Well, people probably laughing, but we've already got the application, and Dave, we were waiting after tonight's election results. Dave will be sending this form in. Dave Coots is going to be running as a write-in candidate for governor of Ohio. So just keep that name in mind, Dave Coots. And I'm going to tell you, he's a good guy. And you know what? What if he did win something like that? Could you imagine what a man like Dave Coots could do for the state of Ohio? Just imagine that.
I mean, the big thing, guys, is what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, the part of the problem is Mike DeWine. Mike DeWine is I wouldn't even classify him as a rhino. He's way more left than that.
I'm not voting for a Republican or him or a Democrat.
I mean, I would rather write in Mickey Mouse as vote for Mike DeWine. It's ridiculous. I don't understand what the Republican Party was doing in Columbus. I mean, you had a true conservative in Mary Taylor, and the election's not over, and I hope she gets it. I pray to God that she gets it, because the future of Ohio lays in the balance. But if Mike DeWine gets it, we are going to fill the form out, and we're going to be writing candidates. I mean, because honestly, like I said, I'd rather vote for Mickey Mouse as vote for Mike DeWine.
Well, Dave, this Democrat representative named Joaquin Castro from Texas said that it's possible, Dave, if a majority of the House representatives will vote to impeach President Trump if the Democrats win the House in 2018. That means these people are planning on trying to impeach our president if we get enough, if the representatives take back over the House. You guys, it's up to you. The country's your country. It doesn't belong to the politicians. They work for you. Don't let these Democrats take the House and Senate. It's your choice. It's your country. By God, take it back.
And what these people need to realize, especially these libtards, is there's 63 million people that voted for that man. 63 million people, and those are the majority of the people that believe in the Second Amendment, that believe in the Constitution. What has Trump done to deserve to be impeached? They have tried to been proven Russian collusion for the last year and couldn't get nothing. So what do? They cast their net out wider. So now, they're with Stormy Daniels, with his personal lawyer. So, I mean, what they're trying to do is they're trying to find anything that they can find on him to get him for impeachment. That's just like Stormy Daniels. That happened 11 years ago. If it happened, it happened. He's a man. He's a billionaire. It's not like beautiful women don't throw themselves at him every single day before he becomes president. That's between him, God, and his wife. And nobody else. What he done, I could care less. He's the leader of the free world now. Now, from the time he raised his hand and took that oath of office until he's out of that office is what I care about. Like I said before, I didn't vote for him to be my spiritual leader. I voted for him to be the leader of the free world, to run this country like a business, which is what it should have been done a long time ago.
Daggone, I'm sure glad I got you as a host. My Dave. I love having this Dave as a host. I've got one of the best hosts a guy could have, and I'm not saying anything about it. I like pot talk with Jimmy and Paul, but you get Dave. Did you hear about Oliver North? He's going to be the next president of the NRA. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did. I mean, being an NRA member and a concealed handgun license instructor, I mean, I try to keep up with that stuff, and I think he'll be a good president of the NRA.
Even though he was involved in that, you remember back in the 80s in Iran-Contra crap?
Well, I mean, and that was kind of like running guns, so that would be he'd be a good NRA president. So,
what do you think about Ted Nugent? You think he'll ever be president of the NRA one day?
I think Ted Nugent would be a great president of the NRA, but the thing with Ted is Ted says it how it is. He's like me. He's not Willy Wonka. He don't sugarcoat nothing. So he is very politically incorrect. So I mean, he's
like you. He don't sugarcoat.
I don't sugarcoat nothing. No, I'm not Willy Wonka. So I mean, that's the thing is, Ted sometimes says something and he cuts his nose off to spite his face, but he gets the point across, and he don't care if you like it or if you don't like it. It is what it is.
I think Ted Nugent's the one that got Michigan to go red in 2016, to be honest with you, Dave.
Well, probably Ted Nugent and Kid Rock.
Kid Rock, yeah. But, Dave, I don't know if you know that yesterday Russian President Vladimir Putin was sworn in for his fourth term as president. He promised economic reforms that would boost the living standards across his country. So I guess people in Russia are probably living pretty bad right now then.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how bad they're living. I'm sure in some parts they're pretty poor, but in some parts I think they're doing pretty good. The thing is, I personally don't have a problem with Vladimir Putin. I mean, I don't trust him, about like Mexican tap water. But I mean, here's the thing.
Or Flint, was it Flint?
Flint, Michigan tap water, yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. With Putin, you know what you get. He's ex-KGB. He's hardcore. I mean, you know what you get with
They
Putin.
love him over, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They love him. So, I mean, as long as he leaves us alone, I don't, do your thing.
Well, Dave, here's something that's got me mad ever since I read this article here a few days ago. Dave, listen to this. I got to get your intake on this, your input. Dave, they are taking the boy out of the name Boy Scouts of America. This has been an institution for 108 years. It's part of Americana. They're taking the boy out of Boy Scouts. I mean, don't they have a Girl Scout, Dave? Come on, man.
This makes absolutely no sense to me.
Get it.
I mean, other than the fact that I know that their recruiting numbers and their new members and stuff were down, so maybe they're thinking that this is going to be able to get their numbers up, make them a better organization. But to me, I mean, what's going to happen? If you get up to like the Eagle Scouts and you've got teenage boys and girls camping together, and the next thing you know, it's going to be, look, mommy, I'm pregnant. I mean,
is this more just political correctness? Do you think, Dave, this changing the name of the Boy Scouts? I think it's going to be called Scouts, BSA. Now that don't sound like something I would want to join. I want to join the Scouts, BSA. No, I want to join the freaking Boy Scouts. Leave it alone.
It is. It's all about being politically correct. I mean, they've had a lot of pressure on them from the LGBT community. And here's the thing. I mean, if you're gay, if you're a transgender, all that, to each his own.
I'm not nobody's judge.
No, it's not. It's not our place to judge. But at the same time, they could have figured something else out besides doing that. That's, that has over 100-year history.
108.
Then you have the Girl Scouts. I mean, guys, and we've always said, my opinion is it's not my place to judge, but if you're confused, if you're a man or a woman, and this is just my opinion. I mean, just look down in your pants. That's going to tell you what you are.
You're right, Dave. And Dave, I'm going to tell you a real rhino. I mean, my candidate was called a rhino, but I'm going to tell you a real rhino. Do you believe that John McCain, the guy isn't even dead yet, and he's already saying he doesn't want President Trump at his funeral? What has President Trump done to McCain that McCain hates him so bad for, Dave?
Well, here's the thing. McCain is an establishment Republican. He's been in the Senate for 35 plus years, I think it is. So he's bought and paid for. He is part of the problem. He is an establishment. Now, I hate to say this, but when that McCain is gone, we might be able to get a real Republican in that position.
From Arizona. How many years has he been in Arizona?
30-some plus years.
Jesus Christ.
Guys, we need term limits. We've said this before. Those people that have been in there that have made a career out of that, they are bought and paid for. When they put their suit coat on, it might as well have the names of the special interest groups that have paid them off. It's ridiculous. They don't need to serve 30-some, 20-some years in the Senate or the House. Get out. It's not a career. Do 2-3 terms, and you're done.
I agree wholeheartedly, and I hate sitting here being like a yes man. I feel kind of like a yes man, but Dave, but we're kind of like-minded. We think the same. But, if I was John McCain and I was dying, I don't even think something like that would cross my mind about a current president not coming to my funeral. I mean, what kind of statements is he trying to make there? I mean, it's a bunch of crap, man.
He's trying to get the last poke in on Trump. That's what it boils down to. But I mean, without trying to sound cold, the only thing that you can say is when that happens is he gone.
Well, yeah, I think he's getting what I don't want nobody to die. I ain't wishing death on nobody. But they always say the old saying, you reap what you sow, John. And I don't know, you probably did a lot of bad things. They said you did bad things when you was a prisoner of war. I mean, you sit there and you ate good and you watched your fellow soldiers sit there and starve and be tortured while you was treated like a king over there. I mean, you've been a bad guy, John.
Well, and I'm not for sure about this, but wasn't he pardoned by one of the presidents?
I think he was. I think he was. I know his dad was like an admiral or something like that.
Yeah, I think he might have been pardoned by one of the presidents.
Dave, have you heard about this whole Rudy Giuliani thing? He's working with the president right now, and he was on Sean Hannity on Sean Hannity's show, and he came out and said Rudy Giuliani said that President Trump reimbursed his personal attorney Michael Cohen the $130,000 paid to Stormy Daniels to stay quiet about their affair. Now, Dave, I've heard a lot of people saying that what Rudy told Sean Hannity on his show, that was going to be the end of President Trump. Why would Rudy Giuliani get on there and say something like that, man? I thought he did a good job during 9/11, but is he getting old? He used to be a prosecuting attorney before he was mayor, right?
Yeah.
So what is up with that, man?
Here's the thing with this. I don't know why Giuliani done what he done, and I don't care. Once again, it goes back to Stormy Daniels. What he done 11 years ago is unimportant to me. I care what he done from the time that he raised his right hand and put it on the Bible and swore an oath to the country as the commander-in-chief. What that man done before that is irrelevant to me. I could care less. Unless it's something that was illegal. Like I said, him having an affair with a porn star, that's between his wife, him, and God.
You're absolutely right, Dave. And I know we got like 8 minutes left, but I just wanted to tell everybody out there, plus you, Dave, that 2 major firms are cutting ties with Dick's Sporting Goods since they decided not to sell these so-called assault-style weapons or high-capacity magazines or sell to anyone under 28. I think it was Springfield Armory and the National Shooting Sports Foundation. It's their right to cut these ties, though, Dave. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them for cutting ties with Dick's Sporting Goods.
No, and I mean, guys, I'm going to tell you this. You know, Dick's Sporting Goods also owns Field and Stream.
They own a lot of stuff.
So, you know, do your research. If you believe in the Second Amendment, do not give these people any of your money. They are so anti-gun, but they've made money selling guns for years. And then they want to raise the age to 21 before, for a person to be able to buy a shotgun or a rifle. That's ludicrous. And once again, though, that's their right. But it's also our rights as customers to not give them any money. So what we can do is, if they're that anti-Second Amendment, don't buy your stuff there. Go somewhere else. Go to your local gun shops. Support your local businesses. I'm sure wherever you're at, if you're in this country, there's a local gun shop right around the corner from you that's going to love to see you come through their doors, that's going to love to see you spend your money there, and they're going to treat you 100 times better than if you went to Dick's Sporting Goods. Them losing the National Federation endorsement, that was a big thing for them.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess somebody needs to tell the Dick CEO that they never sold assault rifles anyway.
What's his name? I forget his name. He's a Dick anyway. His name's Dick.
It's irrelevant to me, but he never sold an assault rifle. You sold a modern sporting rifle. If you sold an assault rifle, it would have multiple modes of fire, buddy.
Is that, you mean it's going to be fully automatic or burst or semi-automatic?
Exactly. There is no country in the world that would take a regular AR-15 into war.
I agree with you, Dave, but now, Dave, this is kind of funny. I'm going to say this because the show's getting near. And you talked a little bit about this a few nights ago, but we haven't talked about it on this show, Dave. And this is probably a little older news, but Dave read me an article here a few weeks ago. It might have been a week and a half ago. A graduate art student at the University of Utah has installed a closet on campus for stressed students to cry in following their final exams. They call it a cry closet. These are not children. They need to grow up, Dave. They don't need a cry closet on these campuses. What's wrong with our kids today? I mean, I didn't go to college, Dave, but we daggone sure didn't have cry closets. We didn't have, people didn't give us hot cocoa, and we were tougher, Dave, when we were younger.
Yes, we were.
Grow up!
I mean, I left home at 16 years old, worked 2 jobs, still graduated from high school, went to the military. So, I mean, what they're doing is, pardon my French, but it's the pussification of America.
That Clint Eastwood, I think, said that, didn't he?
I think he did, yeah.
Hey, well, what happened to the people like Clint Eastwood and John Wayne's of this country? We need more John Waynes, Dave. And I'll tell you what, I don't listen to Kanye West music, but I'll tell you what, Dave, I think he's getting a really bad rap just because he supports our president.
I don't think I've ever listened to Kanye West.
I haven't.
I mean, I got to give him props. He had enough testicular fortitude to come out and say that he supported Trump. And whether he did it to stay in the limelight or, whether he really supports him, I don't know. And I could care less. I mean, maybe he's turned some people around, or maybe he's actually looked at some of the numbers and seen that our president isn't racist. That he's actually doing things for every American. Black unemployment, Hispanic unemployment at all-time lows, guys. So what does that mean? That means people are going to work.
Yes, Dave, you're exactly right. And I don't think we're going to get any more phone calls tonight. We got like 4 minutes left, Dave. But I don't know, Dave. I was going to ask you tonight if you ever got a chance to listen to the speech Trump gave to the NRA in Dallas last Friday. It's a pretty good speech, Dave. I mean, he endorsed a few people, but I think our Second Amendment it's going to be pretty safe as long as Donald Trump is the president, Dave.
Well, I mean, I think it is, but he can only do so much, which goes back to you guys getting out and voting. It goes back to not letting these liberals get into office. The protections that we have, the freedoms that we have are in danger. Every vote counts, guys. When in November, when the elections roll around, get out, vote, get energized, do your research on your candidates. It makes a difference. Get out, vote. Your vote counts. You can make a difference.
Yes, and don't say your vote don't count, because it does, you guys. And just if you don't understand the Electoral College, and nowadays they got these smartphones, they got something on there called Google. Google up the Electoral College. Your vote does count by your state, and whoever gets the most votes in each state, they win that state. So yes, your vote does count, and a lot of people don't understand that. Or that what do you call it? What I say it was the Electoral College. That's one of the last. It's one of the few last remaining things left of what was once a great republic.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what people need to realize is we do not live in a democracy. We live in a constitutional republic. And if you look, when everybody was talking about Hillary winning a popular vote, if you actually break it down and you look at the number of counties that President Trump won, he won, it was 5-1, the number of counties that he won.
Okay, you guys, well, we've got the Pope. We got 30 seconds left. This is Don Whisman. I'm going to tell you guys, if you want, come on, please come back next Tuesday and listen to our show. And Dave Coots, you go ahead and end this show, brother.
All right, guys, we're going to end it like how we started, like we usually always do. We want to send a prayer out to the troops, whether you're abroad or your station here at home. We want you guys to let you know that we love you. We're thinking about you. We're praying for you. You guys do what you need to do to keep us safe and keep your powder, your head down and your powder dry, guys.
God bless America. God bless our Trump, and God bless each and every one of you out there listening. Thank you so much.